Hello and welcome to another Mastery Path Connections interview, but this time it's different because I've been interviewing female entrepreneurs who are making money whilst travelling, and Jules was the second person that I interviewed because we're here in Turkey, Hayson Pet City. And Jules then suggested, well, why don't I interview you for part of the series, because that's what you're doing as well. So that's what we've decided to do. So over to you, Jules.
Absolutely, yeah. So for a change, Deborah, you're the one on the hot seat.
I am. And it's a very, very hot seat.
Yeah.
It's roasting over here.
Oh, God, the last few days, it's really hotted up, hasn't it?
It has.
Oh, we're sitting... Yes, so... Anyway, welcome to your own series.
Thank you.
So it's really lovely. As you've already said, we're both here in Turkey, so we're living the lifestyle, the nomadic lifestyle that we've both said that we wanted to do for some time.
Yeah.
And so it's been really lovely we've been here for 5 weeks now, sharing experiences, sharing tips and ideas of how to move forward, and to help other people, to inspire them, which is what Deb was doing with this amazing series of videos. So really, it's for you to tell your own story now, Deb, because I told mine the other day. So start at the beginning, my lovely. How old are you?
I'm 56 now, and I was actually 50 when I decided that I wanted to create my nomad lifestyle. Okay. And what had happened was I was having some coaching, and one of the things that came up was how low down on my own list of priorities I was. Like putting everybody else before me. And as women, you know, we do tend to do that.
Yeah.
And when I turned 50, I made that conscious choice that I was going to start loving myself enough to put myself first for the first time in my life. And so I gave my children 6 months' notice to leave home and started to give away everything that I owned. I did keep some things, which were stored in my mum's loft. But it was a huge letting go process for me. Yeah.
How did your children respond to being given 6 months? How many did you have at home at the time?
2.
Both of your children at home?
Yeah, both my children were at home, plus my granddaughter, and they weren't showing any signs of leaving and getting their own place.
Who can blame them? You're looking after them so well.
Yeah, flee the nest. Time to, because I also knew as well that all the time that they were living with me, they weren't learning the life lessons.
Yeah. So how old are you? Bless you. Hay fever as well. So how old were you at the time? Not how old were you? How old were the children at the time?
At the time, they were 22 and 24. Okay. So it's not as if they were babies, you know, they were adults.
Absolutely. So time to spread their wings.
Yeah.
And for you to spread yours
in
a much bigger way, which is what you've been doing. So having made that decision then, and letting go of all your possessions, the children moving on, how long did it actually take you from making that decision to actually living the nomadic lifestyle that we're both now doing? And what sort of happened in between? Did you have a plan to get you from A to B? You made the decision, you were 50, and now this is 6 years on.
Yeah.
What's the 6 years in between look like?
So I had a rough plan when I set up. The plan was I was going to travel around Europe with my partner Paul in my Renault Clio, camping and visiting some of the sacred sites in the world. So we spent 2 months travelling around Europe, and then what my plan was to get back to the UK, apply for a visa to go to India, and then go off by myself, backpacking in India. But the universe had other plans for me,
as it always does.
And I ended up having an accident on the motorway coming back up through France, and the car simultaneously engaged 2 gears at the same time.
Wow.
And the car went into a spin. And it's really strange because I didn't have any fear whatsoever, and I just called angels in for protection, and the car came to an abrupt halt on the hard shoulder, and we were unharmed. But for me it was part of the letting go process, because the car was a write-off, so I left it in France, got the train home, and then it became apparent why that had happened. My parents were both ill, and I ended up, instead of going to India, moving in with my mum and dad in a caring role for 2 years.
Wow. So how long was that after you made the decision when you were 50? You did some travelling.
2 months travelling around
2 months travelling.
Then moved in with mum and dad for 2 years. But then in between I went away for shorter trips. So I did a tour through Egypt, which was amazing. I went to Mexico and Guatemala. And so for me, like, traveling has taken different stages. I've done it with my partner. I've done it in a group. I've done it on my own. You know, and then what happened was in September 2013, I bought a one-way ticket to Peru. Just following my heart, trusting that my intuition. You know, Peru kept coming up for me, and so I only booked 2 things before I went. I booked a sacred plant medicine retreat in the Amazon rainforest. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to Peru and not going to Machu Picchu. It's been on my vision board for 2 years. And so those are the 2 things that I booked. And then I didn't plan anything else. I was just like, I'm going to be guided and just see what happens. And also at the time, I didn't have any money either. So I'd gone to Peru on a one-way ticket. My sister had lent me some money. And I had no idea what was going to happen. So it was a real leap of faith for me. And it was the most extraordinary experience. I just loved every single moment.
And how long did you end up spending in Peru?
I was there for 11 months in South America in total. Yeah, I got a visa for 3 months. Then I had to do a visa run to Bolivia. So I was in Bolivia for 5 weeks, and then I got a 6-month visa for Peru, and then that ran out, and so I went to Brazil, and then came back to the UK.
Wow! So even though you started that trip with very little money, you still managed to continue your travels for 11 months.
I did, yeah. And the way that was possible was that, you know, I'm a big believer that I'll always be looked after.
Yes.
And every time I was running out of money, some money would materialise, you know, or I would do work exchanges. So I ended up, for example, living in the most beautiful retreat centre called Iawasi in the beautiful sacred valley of a village called Urubamba.
Wow. Sounds lovely.
And I was living heaven on earth every single day. It was absolute heaven. And I'd set the intention when I saw this retreat centre that I wanted to go and stay there free of charge, with free food and free accommodation. And I just put my intention up to the universe. And the very next day, the lady who owned the retreat centre put a posting on Facebook to say she was looking for somebody to do a work exchange.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up there.
Yes. And of course, you are an incredible manifestor. I've had 5 years experience of Debra's manifestation. And when you set the intention, wow, everything's speeding up these days anyway. But
well, when I was in Peru, actually, it was even faster than it is now, because like my vibration was so high. Very, very clean eating, you know, a very clean diet, and just living my joy. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And when you're in that place of joy in you, everything just flows.
It does, yeah.
Because that's when you're being true to yourself. And everything will then just flow through you. So would you recommend this lifestyle to others, do you think? Is it something that you think would work for everybody, or do you think it's a certain type of person that goes out there and embraces this kind of lifestyle?
I don't think it would work for everybody, but the potential is there for everybody. And the only thing that stops people is fear.
Yes.
And fear is an illusion. And, you know, I think there's no better way to actually break through your fears than to travel, especially on your own, and to completely trust that you are looked after. And you don't need to know the whole plan. You know, you just need to know the next step, and then allow the journey to unfold.
Yes, yeah.
And that's how I live my life.
That's those words have just conjured up the image that I often get with the Raiders. Is it the Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah, the bridge.
He gets to the bridge and he takes that leap.
Yeah,
he has no idea whether he's going to be caught.
Yeah.
And for me, that's a wonderful image of finding the courage to take that leap. Because as Debra says, you know, it's true, you are taken care of, and all kinds of things happen when you travel.
Yeah.
I
think it's how you get your biggest growth, you know.
Yes.
I mean, for me, before I went travelling by myself, I'd never, ever, ever in my whole life spent any time alone, because I'm the eldest of 5 girls, you know, big extended families, lots of aunties, uncles, cousins, always lots of people around. Then I got married and children, and then my house was like a refuge, and I just supported lodges. So there's always been a lot of people in my life. And for me, it was a real blessing to spend time alone.
Yes.
Now, for other people, it might be that they've spent all their life alone.
Yeah.
So it's a real blessing for them to go out and meet other people.
And to be in community,
maybe. And to be in community, so they're having the opposite experience. But it's a good way of getting an experience that you wouldn't otherwise have had.
Absolutely. And what's been really interesting, because I've been sort of sitting when Deborah's been doing a few of these interviews recently, the amount of single ladies that are out there living this kind of lifestyle, far more than I ever imagined, actually. So how are you supporting your lifestyle at the moment? What are you doing to create an income, and what are you doing to help sustain this lifestyle?
Well, for me, when I came back from Peru, I had 6 months of doing nothing, just still being in my joy, spending time in nature, painting, just doing all the things that I loved. And I thought, I better start, thinking about what I'm going to do work-wise. I'm a coach and trainer, and I've got a lot of skills that I can do, but I didn't want to go back into my coaching and training business. Yes. I was looking for something new. And I just set the intention to the universe. I said, what is it you want me to do? And I do, like, every day is like a prayer for me. And when I wake up in the morning, I just say, what do you want me to do today? Who do you want me to talk today? What do you want me to say? Just use me. And what happened was that in 2000, I'm rubbish when it comes to dates. Really rubbish.
I don't know what day it is, half the time since
2 years ago anyway. So 2015. I was offering free hugs at the yoga show in Manchester. As the director of Hugs, you can offer global hugs with just my limited company. It's like an opportunity to share unconditional love through hugs, which is now one of my missions. And so I was at the yoga show, and my friend Dawn had the doTERRA essential oil stand, and she gave me a peppermint experience, and I was like, wow, what is this? I could feel this peppermint working for hours. And so over the 3 days of the show, I kept going back to the stand and saying, what else have you got then? What else can I try? And my intuition was kicking in big time and instructing me to buy a set of oils, which for me was crazy at the time, because I'd come back from Peru owing people money. I didn't have any money, but I did have free credit cards. And so, like, when my intuition kicks in, I always follow it, no matter how crazy it is. And I just thought, well, if I'm supposed to be working with oils in whatever capacity, then that will become apparent. And so I bought a set of oils. Wasn't using them. I really, to be honest, didn't know what to do with them. And so the universe sent me the gift in the form of a broken rib. And I used my oils for that and couldn't believe how quickly the healing process was. And then I started to think, oh my goodness, what have I got hold of here? And then I started to research, and I started to look at, YouTube videos, and I became obsessed with essential oils. And so as a real result of using the oils myself, I felt these are too good to keep to myself. So I started sharing them with other people. And then I realised, actually, I've got a really good business model here that I can use to generate an income. Because doTERRA uses a network marketing model, and it's an education-based company. So what I do now is I educate people about essential oils and how they can use them as natural alternatives for health and wellness. So I run webinars, I send people videos to watch, I might do live classes. Everywhere I go, I travel with my iTobi device, which does like a reading of your bioenergy field. And this generates a lot of interest, because like this is working with your body's frequencies and matching them to the frequencies of essential oils. So this is how I create an income now, and there's 5 different ways that I get paid. So it might be that I've got retail commission because somebody buys off my website or through me directly. But the majority of my income actually comes from helping and supporting my team.
Okay. And it's been really interesting, again, just over the weeks that we've been here. I've experienced the oils myself many times, because there's been all kinds of various health challenges that we've had since we've been here. We're on a house sit, by the way, in rural Turkey, and there's been all kinds of different sort of thankfully small health challenges. But there's been an oil for everything, and I can say hand on heart that these oils are absolutely amazing. So if you're interested in finding out more, please speak to Deborah about them, because they are absolutely fantastic.
Well, what I've done, I've not brought all my oils with me. I've just brought 2 little keychains, and in these keychains I've got my essential must-have oils. For boosting the immune system, for using instead of, I got an ear infection after the dive trip. I had water stuck in my ear and then turned into an infection. So I used oregano oil, I used melaleuca, and I used On Guard to boost the immune system. And within 2 days, the ear infection had gone. We've also used Digestin, haven't we?
We have. We both had various tummy upsets. I had an allergic reaction.
Oh, you did?
We have these dangerous caterpillars. It's a long story. But there are dangerous caterpillars here in Turkey, and unfortunately I had a bit of an extreme reaction to the allergies from them. And what was it that we used for
we
that?
used Triese, which is a mixture. It's a capsule that contains equal drops of lavender, lemon and peppermint, which you took internally. We put some On Guard on the soles of your feet. And we did something else as well. What else did we do?
We used one of the oil,
oregano we used.
Because what happened was my throat, first of all, my hand started to tingle, and then my throat started to close up. So we needed to deal with that really, really quickly. And it did. It dealt with it really quickly, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
That was my first real experience of how quickly these oils work.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting in terms of manifestation and synchronicity, again, being here in Turkey, share the story of talk about being in the epicenter, and neither of us really knew why we were being attracted to Turkey. I'd been offered this house. I was in Mexico at the time, as you are, house sitting over there at the beginning of this year. And when I was there, I was offered this house sit in Turkey. And it's a big job, and it wasn't one that I wanted to do on my own. So I approached Debra and said, would you like to come and do this house sit with me in Turkey? And she said, yeah, I'd love to. So neither of us really knew why we were doing it. It's a long way to come from Mexico to Turkey. And but we said, yeah, let's do it. It could be fun. And now that you're here, the main reason, I think, apart from it being an amazing experience, was because, well,
our next door neighbour, Nadia, I mean, you've got to bear in mind, right, we're living in the middle of nowhere, up a mountain. There's only about 5 houses round about where we are. So we got to the next door neighbours for a cup of tea. And I took my Itobi scan, give him an Itobi scan, and let him try the oils that come up for him. So I've got like oils here, and I've got oils here, and I've got my insect repellent. And Nadia says, my friend owns an essential oil distillery, and it turns out that we are living in the heart of the essential oil production area of the whole of Turkey.
I know.
And so we went for a tour of the distillery, and now I've connected them with doTERRA. We're going to send in samples over, and who knows what will happen. It's just like, it's fantastic how one thing just leads to another, and all these little aha moments and all these lights going off. It's been incredible. So what would you say would be your top tips for somebody who is making the decision? I guess not everybody makes a conscious decision, actually, to step into this lifestyle. Some people, it just kind of evolves and happens. They just make a decision to do one thing. Because to actually make a decision to step into a life of being home free is quite a big thing to do. You know, we've both done it, so you know how it is, and it's not always easy moments. But for those who are thinking of doing it and doing it consciously, what would be your top tips and your highlights of the experience for you, really? Top tips, I'd say make sure that you take some essential oils with you, because honestly, I would not travel anywhere without these now. They are absolute essentials for me, because I do value my health, and also it's got me out of some realistic patches. I would also say follow your heart, do what you enjoy, what do you love to do. Don't have a plan that's too tight. Allow the flexibility and allow the universe to provide for you. And just enjoy every moment. We only have the present moment of now, and we can live like in the 5th dimension by focusing our energies in the present moment and not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future. When we're doing that, we're splitting our energy, and when we're actually living in the present moment of now, which is all we ever have, that's when the magic happens. So allow the magic to unfold, and reach out for help when you need it as well. I mean, I actually, when I came back from my travels, I run mastery-path events, and I did sort of 3 events just on travelling and the lessons that I learned, the spiritual and personal growth that I had through travelling. And I've got like a whole, I think it's about 2.5 hours on tips, for travelling. And then I'm running a retreat in Glastonbury in September for women who want to make money whilst travelling. Because, there's so many things that you can do and tap into your potential. So one of the tips I'd say is do a skills audit. Look at every single skill and bit of knowledge that you have that you can draw on from your past. Write it all down, because you will be amazed at how incredible you are. And then be creative and just think, how can I utilise these skills whilst I'm on the road?
So would you think that people really do need a plan as such, or is it more a case of setting an intention and then taking that first step and letting it unfold?
It's about setting the intention first,
yeah.
but you need to take action as well in order to make that happen. And also do the inner work, by working on yourself, letting go of the fears, what support do you need in order to do that.
Yes.
But the more likely that you can travel, the easier it'll be for you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's metaphorically and physically speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I've hardly brought any clothes to Turkey with me, but I've still got things that I could have done without.
Yeah.
And I've done it in stages, of like trying to go with less and less and less.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing, because when you're actually traveling, you forget how little you need. So I'd say only take stuff with you that you don't mind leaving behind, because then you can give them to other people. Because when you're traveling as well, you see the most beautiful things that you might want to replace some of your clothing.
Yeah, that's true. And we have some fellow house sitters actually who they just travel the world with hand luggage now, which makes a huge difference when it comes to the cost and putting in your luggage in the hold and making things easier and more flexible for you as you travel. Yeah. So I'm guessing that you'll be able to help people as well in terms of if they want to know more about creating a travel kit to take the essential oils with them. That's something that you can offer during one of your consultations. And I would highly recommend that you do that, because they have been a lifeline, especially when you're stuck at the top of a mountain top in rural Turkey with dangerous caterpillars
going into anaphylactic shock.
So people wanting to know more than Deborah, how do they get hold of you?
They can contact me on Mastery Path's website, which is www.mastery-path.com. On there, I put blogs and, it's got contact details on there. The best way, actually, is through Facebook. I've got lots of different pages on Facebook. I've got Debra Sofia Magdalene as both my profile and page. I've got Detox with Debra, about living a chemical-free lifestyle and getting rid of all the toxins and chemicals out of the body. I've got Magdalene Wellness, which is my Facebook page for the essential oils. I've just set up Hugs, House and Pet Sitting Services.
Which from the director of Hugs is obviously totally appropriate.
And if you don't want to travel, you're just interested in offering free hugs, well, come and join us in Global Hug Ambassadors.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed our 5 weeks here. This is the first time that for both of us that we've done a joint house sit like this, so it's been a great experience, and it's something that other people can do as well. Buddy up to do house sits and other projects, not necessarily just house sits. Look for people who want to do something similar to you. If you don't want to do it on your own, it's a great way to come together in collaboration. It's much more fun.
It is, and it's a good way of earning an income as well whilst travelling.
Absolutely. So let's see what the future unfolds.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jules.
Yay. Thanks, Deborah.
Lots of love, everybody.
Bye.